He's the baby we fell in love with at General Conference.
So many things that we have come to learn and understand better because of Paxton.
Today on Mormon Times, meet Paxton's family and hear how life has changed since sharing his story with the world. And an organization that is providing a hand up, not a handout.
We studied groups all around the world and found out that about 90–95% of them were giving people a fish as opposed to teaching them how to fish.
Cause for Hope is a different kind of model that emphasizes self-reliance, plus response in Missouri to the new temple there.
It's certainly a symbol of healing and goodwill and all the best things about the gospel, all the best things about what a temple represents to all of us.
Good morning and welcome to Mormon Times. When life doesn't go as planned, it's easy to feel abandoned by God. But as Elder Ronald A. Rasband taught so beautifully at General Conference, as we bear our burdens nobly, we will come to recognize special lessons from the Lord.
There's little Paxton, everybody.
For the past 20 months, our family has been blessed with the privilege of having a very special baby. Little Paxton, our grandson, was born with a very rare chromosomal deletion, a genetic disorder that distinguishes him literally as one in hundreds of millions.
When we found out about Paxton at his 20-week ultrasound, I was very scared, and I admit I felt like, what have we done wrong to need this kind of an experience? I studied and pondered a lot those first few days and even came to realize it was a great blessing.
A perfect body is not required to achieve a divine destiny. In fact, some of the sweetest spirits are housed in frail frames.
Or no? No. Okay, you're gonna get the ball. Really, since conference, he's doing much better. I feel like there are so many people that we don't even know that are praying for Paxton.
We have a saying in our family that with the priesthood and a good surgeon, anything is possible. With Paxton.
Oh, and look at, those are your friends.
The tubes, because they're always there. Huh.
We recognize what a gift Paxton is.
It just radiates light to all of us. Paxton loves looking up, looking at the lights and the ceiling. And lots of times you've got friends waving to you, huh? Yeah, there is such a bond that comes from caring for someone full time.
It is so good to get so.
We love every minute with him, and it's helped us refocus our sights on what's most important, and that is togetherness and time. And Shannon reminds me often of the choices that I need to make. You know, that family does come first.
I had a dream that I could fly from the
Dad, and me, and Mommy, and Paxton, and McKay, and Jesus.
Come to understand much better that the atonement isn't just about healing and about repentance and forgiveness, but it's also about helping us become the parents we want to become.
Amen.
And we will never stop praying for Paxton.
Go family!
Heavenly Father does hear and answer our prayers. And He wants to bless our children. He wants to bless Paxton.
I feel like Paxton's been a great missionary, and he has reasons that he's supposed to be here, a mission, and when he's fulfilled that and it's time for him to go home, then I feel like that will obviously be a very sad thing for us, but I also feel that we'll be able to know also that that's the Lord's will.
How grateful we are to our Father in heaven for our champion, Paxton. Through him, the Lord has manifested His works and continues to teach us these valuable, sacred, and special lessons.
He's part of our family, and we love every minute we get to be with him.
The Nortons say that they've learned a lot about service from friends, family, and the staff and volunteers at Primary Children's Medical Center. To help children like Paxton, look for the Giving Hope campaign next week on KSL.com. And tune into KSL on the evening of Saturday, June 2nd to see more of Paxton's story during a special broadcast to celebrate the hospital. Well, speaking of reaching out and helping others, members in many communities outside of Utah recently gathered for a massive volunteer project. It was part of Mormon Helping Hands. This program gives members a chance to provide service in their communities, and it introduces people not of our faith to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Take a look at what happened when Mormon Helping Hands got together for a day of service in California.
They see the emotions, they see the smiles in the people volunteering, and we are a volunteer church.
I think this particular community will feel things that it hasn't felt in a long time or felt before.
We're extraordinarily appreciative of coming in and renovating one of our inner city parks.
Nothing short of an army, that's for sure. If you come out, you need to see it, need to be here, be a part of the energy, be a part of the love, be a part of the support. It's incredible.
Well, I'm just personally representing the city of Irvine and the Great Park, very thankful of the LDS community that come out today to help with our efforts here at the Great Park.
Now, the Helping Hands, they're showing support to the military.
If it wasn't for them, this could never have happened.
We make our communities better by serving one another. We don't expect any payment back because the reward of working together and making good things happen is all we need.
Without that labor force, we wouldn't get as far as we're going. As you can see, they've done a lot in just a short period of time. So they move pretty fast. So now we're scrambling. I'm going looking for bins out in the post here, empty bins, so we can start filling those up as well.
There's probably children as young as 4 or 5 years old and probably seniors I've seen as old as 85, 90 years old out here, and everything in between.
It's nice to give back to the community. It's a good feeling. Who wouldn't want to do it?
It's incredible experience, and I really want to thank the Mormon Church LDS for coming out here and being a catalyst for this.
So with all this help, it's an extraordinary effort. It really adds a tremendous upgrade and look to the community.
I've had a lot of interest about it and a lot of communication. People saying, really? Is it going to really happen? And here it is.
This is not a Salt Lake church. The activities and the projects that are created are not a Salt Lake projects. They're worldwide projects to create awareness for the church, but also to demonstrate to the world who we really are. We are part of them. We are part of their culture. We are part of their communities. We are part of their country. Service, helping our fellow man, helping our neighbor. That's what we're all about.
Similar Mormon Helping Hands Day of Service projects are organized in every corner of the globe. Hundreds of thousands of members and friends of the church participate. We'll have more information about this program on our website at mormontimestv.ksl.com. A talented group of members also came together to create an inspiring music video to commemorate the Day of Service in California. Coming up next, Alex Boyer and Carmen Rasmussen Herbert will be here to share this song with us. Recently, Alex Boyer and Carmen Rasmussen Herbert combined their talents in a new music video commemorating the California Day of Service. They're here today to share their song with us. It's Have I Done Any Good in the World?
Have I done any good in this world today? Have I helped anyone in need? Have I cheered up the sad, made someone feel glad? If not, have failed indeed.
Has anyone's burden been lighter today? Because I was willing to share. Have the sick and the weary been helped on their way? When they needed my help, was I there?
Then wake up and do something more than dream of your mansion above. Doing good is a pleasure, a joy beyond measure, a blessing of duty and love. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, there are chances for work all around us now. Opportunities right in our way. Do not let them pass by. Say it somehow, I'll try. Just go and do something today.
Oh, 'tis noble of man to work and to give. Love's labor has merit alone. And only he who does something helps others to live. To God each good work will be known.
Amen, sister.
Then wake up and do something more than dream of your mansions above.
Doing good is a pleasure, a joy beyond measure, a blessing of duty and love. And
Well, thanks, Alex and Carmen. Great arrangement, and you can watch the official music video on our Mormon Times TV Facebook page. Coming up next, effective parenting after your kids have grown and flown the nest. Experts Richard and Linda Ayers share ways to stay connected with your adult children. And the temple in Kansas City, Missouri.
It was almost like a dream come true for so many of the saints, early saints, and for the saints here today.
What this new temple means to the members there. A parent's job is never done, but as your children grow and leave home, learning to adjust your stewardship over them is essential. Parenting experts Linda and Richard Ayer are here with ideas for some effective empty nest parenting. Glad for you to be here today.
You're never done. It just gets more expensive, Michelle.
It does.
And bigger.
It does, and we've all
Bigger.
been through this a few times now. So what is it? Is it your stewardship just changes, or does it diminish?
I think it just changes.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, it's hilarious because we were trying to give our kids advice like, don't buy that house. Oh my gosh, don't buy that house. And they bought it and they doubled their money in 5 years.
You gotta be real careful with your advice.
You have
once
to
they're
be
gone.
so careful with that advice. And, you know, let them know that it's now their world, you know, and if they want advice.
But the worst thing, I'm glad you started the way you did. The worst thing you can do is abdicate and say, hey, they're out of here. I'm done with them. I'm going off to play golf.
Okay.
Because they need us just as much.
Right, and
They
when
just don't know it.
when they first leave home, how much contact should you have? Because I think with our kids, especially the boys, they wanted to cut the apron strings.
Linda, this was contact master.
We were just saying, we sent our first daughter off to Wellesley College in Boston. She'd never been really away from home, and I sent her a postcard every day.
Wow.
Every day.
And she
And
loved
honestly,
that. She appreciated
And then
that
we're laughing
so
about the
much.
last one leaving home and going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, has she been gone? I didn't realize that. You know, it depends on the child. It depends on the situation.
Well, how much contact do you have? I mean, you know, it's not like texting every 5
It's so
minutes?
easy
or?
now because of electronics, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
we can call them, we can text them. They respond better to texts than to voicemail, which is interesting. We can have, you know, if you go on Google Plus now, you can have a family home evening with all of them on. You
Right.
see all
Right.
9 pictures of them.
Only once every 2 months or so, though. We want them to
Yeah.
have their own family
That's
home
right.
evenings, and so we go on with them. But honestly, it's so cool because the one that's talking gets big on the screen, and the kids come on and say, "Look what I got, and look
they
what I
love
did,
it.
and
They
my
love
trophy."
it. They're
and
not
all
interested
that.
in us. They want to see each other on
Yeah.
the screen and
Yeah.
ask questions. I love that you used the word stewardship because it changes. And what you have to realize is you don't have the direct stewardship for your grandchildren. Your kids
Right.
do. You're not the steward. And the way you get in trouble is to try to tell them how to parent
Right.
or to try to circumvent them and do the parenting for them. That's a big
So
mistake.
your parenting's never done, but you have to hold your tongue
Right.
sometimes and just realize what your
A
place is.
lot of
really.
times, you
Okay.
know.
What about, and this is a sensitive and sad thing sometimes, what if your kids stray from the church? What advice do you give, or do you just kind of watch?
Love more, love more, and
Unconditional?
just really, let them know that that you love them no matter what they do. I love this little quote, and somebody said, President Hinckley said this: "In the end, everything's going to be okay, and if it isn't, it isn't the end."
Huh, I do
You've
like
got a
that.
long
There's
time.
hope in that.
You've got a
Eternity
long
is a
time.
long, long time, and I think parents shouldn't give up. They should just show more love.
And if they want advice, then you give advice, like on
This
as
is
a
really good
grandparent.
question, because this guy cannot help himself.
can't
He
help
has
myself.
to give advice. So we came up with a little pact.
We had a little, I got to tell you this, because they were saying you're giving too much advice. I can't help it. I have to say what I think. So we actually made a pact, and the pact was they would not be offended if I gave them advice. I would not be offended if they chose not to follow it.
I like it. That's a good one to end on. Thank you so much, Linda and Richard.
Thank
Love
you.
your insights every time. Thank you. 175 years ago, the church faced extreme persecution in Missouri, but now Kansas City is home to our newest temple. Sam Penrod was there, and he shares this story.
It stands north of Kansas City, a temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, built in the same area where early members struggled in the 1830s and faced persecution for their beliefs. But those times are in the past. Thousands of LDS members now live in Missouri and Kansas. The evening before the dedication, they filled a downtown arena to celebrate the new temple. Young men and women of the Temple District recognize the significance of the day.
I get to represent our church, and I get to see the prophet today, and we get to celebrate.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I will probably never get the chance to do this ever again in my entire life.
Hello, kids. How are you doing?
President Thomas S. Monson dedicated the temple, a moment never to be forgotten for those who were there. Allison Jensen once served a full-time mission in the area.
Independence and this Kansas City area is just will always hold a special place for me. It's a place that really changed my life and helped me to really gain a greater testimony and made me happy.
The temple is just 5 miles away from Liberty Jail, where Joseph Smith was imprisoned for months in harsh conditions before the saints were again driven away.
President Monson felt very pleased and very happy. I know he felt and his counselors felt that this was a historic day. The dedication of a temple in Kansas City, Missouri was a day of great history in the LDS Church.
The new temple also helps to honor those early saints, a symbol of healing from those difficult times more than 175 years ago.
But I think there's a little lesson here about the Lord able to keep promises and fulfill the promises and blessings and opportunities that He's expressed in an earlier day. The fact that if we persevere and carry on, in this case it meant going west a bit, but now we get to come back and the things work out. Things can be realized. Dreams are fulfilled.
Sam Penrod for Mormon Times.
Beautiful building. Coming up next, helping to break the cycle of poverty.
It's been a wonderful journey as we've helped thousands of families become self-reliant.
Hear how members help mentor the poorest among us in Latin America. It's an organization that got its start nearly a decade ago as an LDS pilot program, but now runs independent of the LDS Church to aid people of all faiths in 6 Latin American countries. The best part is it's helped thousands of families stand on their own and have cause for hope. Poverty keeps people from opportunity and reaching their potential.
Just a few $100s can change a life, a family.
But some live in poverty all their lives, entire families living on just $2 to $3 a day because they don't know how to break the cycle.
The poor are poor because they're poor in thinking, they're poor in training, they're poor in habits.
That's why Cause for Hope exists. The charity focuses on families and changing habits and behavior so people can have sufficient income to become self-reliant.
Teaching people about personal responsibility, the importance of work, gaining an education, and savings all add to self-reliance.
The charity does it through a number of programs, including mentoring, which is the key.
Where we hire local, respected opinion leaders. And these opinion leaders then coach and work with families.
Then the families can help each other. Gifford tells the story of a man whose training and new job changed everything at home.
His youngest son then came to him, yanked on his pant leg and says, "Poppy, does this mean that we can eat more than one time a day?" And Wilbur said, tears filled his eyes as he thought that he can now support his own family.
Cause for Hope also helps send young people on missions.
And they're so poor, they didn't have the resources to send them out the pre-mission money of buying clothes, going to the dentist, the doctor, buying suitcases, those kind of things. We've helped about 1,500 young men go on missions and supplied missionaries for 7 or 8 missions.
And when these young men return, they marry, get on a career track, and provide for their families.
And we've seen stakes being divided and real strength being brought to these individual communities.
It's a program that makes the difference in our lives.
It's an amazing experience as you think of creating a society where there's no poor among us. All of us fight the challenge of having pride in our lives, and I think having a regular involvement really has put life in perspective. I recognize that I'm a beggar. We're all beggars for God.
Even though Cause for Hope is separate from the church, it focuses on being a tool for priesthood leaders if they need help in their communities. Well, thanks for joining us today on Mormon Times. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.